All right, so what's an update? What's been going on? What happened yesterday?
We went and talked to a real estate company who had a rental space behind them. That would have been pretty good for the parking area. The building that they had for rent had a conference room in it. They just set it up. They were hoping for a mortgage company or insurance company or somebody to come and rent from them there, and so they didn't. They are also leasing it from somebody else, and so they said they called today and they said that they talked to the owner and he wasn't comfortable with the electrical part that we would be adding to it for golf cart rentals, so it was a no-go for that one.
That would have been a really good price, pretty good location, a little bit of a busy area, but we're not trying to do like a storefront necessarily. And initially she turned us down, and then she was like, "Go show them the place," and then at the end it ended up being no, and that's okay. That's just how it is. It's cool because we found that one just out of the blue and just drove over there. So there is some stuff available that we're just not seeing online. People are really leery about golf carts here, which is odd because it's such a big market. We didn't even have the option to like tell them, hey, we can start with a gas fleet if we needed to, and that's okay. We're looking for a place for our kid, our oldest kid, and her husband and baby to come and find a place.
So excited for them to get here.
Yeah. So we just got settled in, and now they got to get here.
People are like, how could you leave your grandbaby? Well, because it's going to be short-lived.
Yeah.
I told my daughter, you don't have an option to stay there. It's just not your choice. I'm your mama. You got to do what I say. You got to get here with the baby.
Yeah. So we've been looking for her too. And that kind of gives you a little bit of idea of what we've been dealing with before we got the long-term spot. We're looking at places for us. We're looking at places that we could start a business, but at the same time, we had to find a place that had enough of a local economy to support a young family needing to make an income as well, and had enough housing for them. So finding a spot for us wasn't just for us. There's also more family that has, when they get the opportunity to come here, they need to find the correct housing for them. And that's kind of how we ended up where we are. Even though this is ideally where we wanted to be, it made going further down the coast of Florida a little bit more of a difficult decision. So I'm glad it all worked out.
We've called so many agents, and for some reason, like, you would think that they wanted to work. Coming from
Texas, where agents, if you just thought about calling their phone number, they called you back.
Yeah, like we have so many calls in and messages to so many agents here for different things, whether it's a rental for our daughter or a warehouse space or a land lot or something. We have so many calls in. Finally, some have started calling back, but we talked to a wonderful agent just a little while ago. She doesn't deal with rentals, but she was still so very helpful. She sent us contacts for property management places.
Give us a lot of information.
She did. She told us places that wouldn't be good for the baby.
And even knowing that at the moment we weren't going to be dealing with the market that she deals with. She only really deals with buyers and sellers. And we're looking for commercial space, and she doesn't really mess with that. And we're looking for a place that our kid could rent, and she doesn't mess with that either. But she took about 30 minutes of her day and gave us tons of information. showed us where we needed to be looking rather than just looking at the third-party sites like homes.com and realtor.com, things like that, where we could actually see some listings that weren't available. It's a really odd thing. So where we come from in Texas, doing home inspections, the inspector isn't really the favorite person in the transaction, but for the most part, everyone communicates and everyone understands that when that phone rings, that's kind of how you make money. But here in Florida, since we've been here, it's been so odd that we've called so many people and nobody answers their phone. You can text and nobody replies back. Looking at properties, you'll leave multiple messages at a brokerage and never get a phone call back, or you'll get a phone call where it'll ring twice and they'll stop, they'll hang up, and that's kind of the end of it, which is odd. And that just makes it to where it makes us think, we should just transition from the inspections into the real estate. If people don't want to answer phones, that's how you make money, is answering phones.
We'll answer the phones.
Yeah, we've been answering the phones for a long time. And that goes back to everything is an option at this point. So there's no huge rush anymore for us and our business, but there is some urgency for our kid, because her lease will be up at the end of the month, and so she needs to be able to transition from Texas to Florida as those months change as well.
On the side note, as far as, everybody that we've come in contact with since we've been here, from people at Walmart, workers, just customers, people here in the parking lot of this little place.
Super nice.
Everybody is nice. Everybody is happy.
And that is a difference. In Texas, a lot of people are nice, but not everybody's always in the best mood.
And customer service
is
awesome
amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Except
for some of the realtors.
Yeah, except for the real estate industry. But yeah, like you go to Walmart and there's 8 cashiers instead of all self-checkout stuff, and the cashiers are nice. You talk to the worker at Walmart stocking the shelf and they're nice. Or you go to an ice cream parlor and they're nice. That's so odd. Since COVID, it's been terrible customer service, and then everyone expects a tip for doing garbage work. And here, not everywhere has the tip stuff, but it makes you want to tip them, even though their job really isn't a tip kind of job. Like, it's really odd. Like, the people actually working, amazing. And maybe that has to do with we're in a really high tourist area and customer service is really like where it's at. But it's super nice, and so many people have been like, God bless you, we'll pray for you. That's amazing. Back home you have people do that too, but at the same time they're not so open about it. Everyone's kind of scared to say anything, and offend people. And here it's kind of nice. It's been refreshing to hear that so much, to the point where Bambi's like, I accept your blessing.
I receive it.
I receive it. Anyways, that's what it is today. Today we may go look at some apartments or something. We
may look at apartments, but it's going to be nice weather today. So
yes.
Today is where we're probably going to go fishing.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It didn't stop.